Williams, Realtor here in Franklin, Tennessee. And I am here with John Hinton. He is an attorney that specializes in titling, correct?
Right. Title insurance.
Okay, perfect. So we have him here today because we come to the closing table, and a lot of times my clients are seeing all of the closing details for the first time, and often they're looking at the line item that says title insurance,
Right.
and just wondering, what is that exactly for? Is it important?
Right. So a lot of people ask that question at the closing table, which, if you ever have a question on title, you should always call first. But when we get to the table, they're like, what does this cover exactly? In a nutshell, title insurance covers your property rights. Much like you would for auto and home insurance, you protect for future events. Title insurance covers you for past events. So the things that have occurred on the title that you would not necessarily know about from your experience, but would reflect in the title. And what the insurance does is cover the gaps, the stuff that may pop up that wasn't recorded, or that an issue that you would not have known about, an error that didn't sign, any kind of issue that would pop up is covered up to the amount of the policy.
I love that. So, as far as insurance goes, we mostly think of auto and home, which
Right.
is insuring for future events
Correct.
and reducing that risk.
Right.
But you're saying title insurance is reducing the risk from things that have happened in the past.
Right. So we issue title. Whenever you're buying a home, we're saying this is a good title to the property, and you have the right to purchase and own this property, and we're insuring that right.
Okay, great. So, have you come across any situations where someone should have had title insurance and they didn't?
We have a deal in Springfield. It was a cash deal. A buyer used cash to buy the home, used a small attorney in Springfield that doesn't do title every single day like we do. He just does it every now and then whenever he has a deal come about. And he obviously did not scour the record like he should, and he sold a piece of property to a woman who bought it from sellers that were not the actual sellers. They pretended
Wow.
to be the sellers. It was like a $165,000 deal, paid cash, no title insurance. Therefore, she was out the money unless she can get it from the people who misrepresented they were the true
Wow.
owners.
Wow. And in today's market, where your personal identity is at risk
Right.
and all kinds of digital transactions go on, and you really don't know for sure,
Right?
you don't have verification that
Right.
the deal is authentic.
Correct.
Okay, that's scary. All right, so a story like that where someone purchased property with cash and then come to find out the deal fell through because there was ownership on the title.
Right.
And so in that case, because that buyer didn't have title insurance, they're just out.
They're just out.
Wow.
And some people don't have home insurance. And if you can afford to pay for it twice, then I say, okay, you're saving money. But unless you're willing to buy that house twice or just lose that money and not buy another house, it's always a good idea to get title insurance just to make sure that you have that protection, because, we can't control what happened 30, 40 years ago. And it wasn't digital. It was all paper. So it was a much different world back then.
Right. And so really that puts a lot more weight and respect onto the escrow company that you choose.
Correct.
Specifically knowing that they also are title experts.
Right.
I mean, that is really where the value comes in.
Right. And you wouldn't hire, a divorce attorney to handle your plaintiff injury case. Just like
Right.
you wouldn't, you'd want a title expert, not just someone who does it every now and then or has a license to do it. Doesn't mean they know exactly what they're doing or the right processes in which to do it. We do it every single day, and we do it at a high level. So we know what we're doing, and we know what we're getting ourselves into whenever we're doing a transaction and when we're issuing policies on those transactions.
Sure. So in that case also, it seems fairly important that your escrow company isn't just picked randomly from
Right.
the yellow pages. It should-
Right. It should be someone that is vetted in the community, specifically the realtor community. A lot of times lenders have their favorites too. But, the realtors are the ones that are going to know best, in my opinion, because they deal with it on a daily basis. So I would always rely on your realtor's referral unless the realtor doesn't have a referral to give you, but in most cases they do. They have worked with people in the industry, and we're fortunate enough. We have a lot of great realtors who refer us to their clients, and we're very thankful for that. And we try to do our best in being the best in the business. We are the largest title company in Tennessee, but we try to be the best in Tennessee as well. So,
wow. Now, wouldn't it be great if there was something like that to apply to real life, where you could just have the service determine if someone was authentic or not?
right.
I mean, now it seems so easy. You just have a great title insurance company, and it takes care of that. And too bad it doesn't apply to other things. So now, if you're a buyer and you have a lender, you're saying most likely their choice of the title insurance will be vetted because they're the lender. I mean, as a consumer, should I still shop around, or?
It's never a bad idea to shop around for services, but like with lenders, a lot of times individuals will shop for different rates and different fees and such. But with title insurance, we're a different industry in that a lot of our rates are regulated by the state of Tennessee. You have to send in forms stating what your rate is, and so you're not going to have a whole lot of varying on the fees, maybe a little bit here and there based on the rate that they choose. But our underwriters are the largest in the country, and we try to use people that we know are competitive because we want to be competitive in the market as well as far as our fees and our underwriters' fees are concerned.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so now what if, I've purchased a property and it turns out that there's some claim on it? How does that work?
So every underwriter has a different process. You would file a claim just like you would for home or auto. There's a form you fill out to state the claim that you have for that particular piece of property and what happened. And generally, if the claim is found valid and not frivolous or whatever their requirements are, they will pay that out to the client. And it differs between whether you have a lender's policy or an owner's policy. If there's a lender's policy, they'll pay that amount to the lender, what was the loan amount that's still owed, and then the owner will get the difference if they have an owner's policy. Lenders require a policy with any transfer of property that they're purchasing. They have a lien on the property. They require it. Owners is optional, as you'll see on most CDs. We still recommend it. The fee involved with simultaneous issue is much lower if you purchase them together than if you separated them out.
Okay.
And with that, you get that coverage for the difference. So the interest you have in the property. So if anything was ever to happen, the lender would be covered for their portion. You'd be covered for the remainder of the policy.
And what about the ownership of the property?
So you would still be considered an owner of the property unless a claim, like we just referred earlier, where they weren't the true owners. If there's anything like that happens, there is a potential that you would lose that property interest, but you wouldn't be out the money necessarily. The attorney would be the one that ultimately would go after for not properly vetting the owners and searching the title and authenticating who they say they are. But most instances, you wouldn't necessarily lose your interest in the property unless there was something like that. There would be legal fees and different things that come out, and you wouldn't want to have to front those costs to fight that in court.
Okay, so I think that pretty much clarifies what title insurance is, and clearly it's hugely important.
Right.
So, it's not just some line item on your closing statement.
It's very important. It's like having homeowners insurance on your house and it burns down the next day. You're like, man, I wish I had that. It's one of those situations.
And it's such a small amount in comparison to.
And what it's protecting and the the liability that comes with our industry is pretty high. There's a lot of costs that go into issuing title and running title, and there's a lot of costs that we would be responsible for if there was ever an issue. So when you weigh all that together, the fee is very nominal for what you're getting, the product that you're getting.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
I really appreciate that.
Pleasure.
That definitely clarifies it. Yeah.